Hey guys, Andrew with Prime Medical Training, and today we're going to do a case review of a cardiac arrest that I worked yesterday. So it was not my patient. It was initially. I brought it into the ER, dropped it off, and then the staff took over. The patient coded soon after, and they started CPR. I took over doing ventilations at the head with a bag valve mask, while one of the nurses started doing compressions. While she's doing compressions, she's going for a little longer than I would normally anticipate. And I said, "Hey, what number are you on?" And she said, "I'm on 35. I said, "Whoa, I got to give my 2 breaths. You need to stop for a second." And at that point, the doctor overheard me saying this, and he says, No. Here we do continuous compressions with breath whenever you feel like it." That's exactly what he told me. I said, okay. So she continues doing compressions. I start doing ventilations at 1 breath every 6 seconds. And then he makes the remark that, "See, look, his oxygen saturation is 100%. We're doing great." Let me explain why we do not do continuous compressions when there's not an advanced airway in place. Yeah, he might have had 100% oxygen saturation. He also probably had that in the stomach. Take a look over here. So what we've got is this very shrewd outline of the person. You got compressions happening over here, and you have the bag valve mask with the ventilations. When you compress, you're compressing the lung and pushing air out. So if I try to push air in at the same time that a person is trying to compress, air's not going into the lungs. So where's it going to go? It's got to go someplace. It can't go out their mouth, and it can't go into the lungs, so it's forced into the stomach. So when you're doing continuous compressions with a bag valve mask, you're just pumping oxygen into the stomach. Yeah, there's definitely oxygen getting into the lungs, but you're causing a lot more complications. I've seen so many fatalities happen because air gets pushed in the stomach, gastric distension occurs, air gets, they vomit, and then they aspirate it into the lungs, and they end up dying from that infection. So let's talk about when you do continuous compressions and breaths. That's when you have an advanced airway in place. You notice this is the trachea. This is going to be your ET tube. When you've intubated somebody, you blow up the little balloon that occludes that airway. So now, even if the person's still doing continuous compressions and you're blowing air in, there's no chance of the air being able to get pushed back out and then into the stomach, okay? This protects it. It creates a definitive airway, and it secures it from any kind of gastric distension or aspiration. So I just wanted to point that out, guys. If your hospital or if your instructor is telling you that compressions are super important and you just need to do nonstop compressions regardless, that is absolutely wrong. There is such a thing as creating harm to a patient when we do continuous compressions and give breaths with a bag valve mask. That's case review number 1. This is Andrew with Prime Medical Training.